host on this channel. In this video, we will have our discussion on the yearly predictions for the next year 2024 for all the rising signs. And before we will start our discussion, I wish all of you heartiest wishes and blessings of this upcoming new year. May all of your wishes come true. May you will find your purpose, and this year will bring you good wealth, health and happiness in all areas of your life. So guys, before we will jump into the customized results for this upcoming new year, customized to your Lagna, let's first try to understand how the vibe of this year collectively is going to be influencing all of us. So guys, if you remember, like at the time when I made a video for the year 2023, I mentioned this thing that from the numerology point of view, the universal year turned out to be of 7, which is a number of extremities because it is being ruled by the planet Ketu. And we all have seen that the war which took place, like Israel and this Hamas situation which we all are witnessing, so that generally tend to remain a theme in the universal year of 7. But guys, when we talk about the vibe of the 2024, the sum total of that will give you the universal year vibration of number 8, which is being governed by the planet Saturn. Second thing is that even in the transit next whole year, Saturn is going to be strengthened in the sign of Aquarius, its own Mool Trikona sign. And Saturn is going to be traveling in the majorly in the Sadbhisha Nakshatra and the Purvabhadrapada Nakshatra. Both of the nakshatra are somehow very much conducive and favorable for Saturn to manifest good results. And also guys, in one of the video, I also mentioned this thing that as per our lunar calendar calculations, this year is also the Samvatsar. It is carrying the energy of the Mars, as Mars is the ruler of this year. So definitely when we talk about the combined energy of the Mars and Saturn, so that definitely benefit all those people who are in the fields of engineering, construction, you are a builder or anything to do with the innovative work. So definitely this year will give you lot many opportunities. Apart from that, Jupiter is going to be transiting in the sign of Aries till the end of the April of 2024, and at the beginning of the May, it will transit to the sign of Taurus. So guys, one thing is for sure that because in the original Kalpurush Kundli, Aquarius is a sign of gains and Taurus is a sign of wealth. Now as you can see that both of these two planets and these zodiac signs are going to be in a strengthened state because Saturn being in the Aquarius and Jupiter being in the Taurus. Second thing is that the transiting Ketu is now going to be getting aspected by the planet Jupiter. That in itself is a very good indication that in order for you to reap the reward of all those things which you have done, your soul has accumulated from the journey in the past so many lifetimes, this year can actually give you the results of that as well. And lastly guys, I always say this thing that whenever in the transit, if these two major planets, Jupiter and Saturn, are jointly influencing any sign, so the tendency to gain something very substantial connected with the attributes of that zodiac sign tend to remain very strong. So guys, during this year, once Jupiter will transit the sign of Taurus, Jupiter will aspect the sign of Scorpio, and Saturn is already giving its 10th aspect to the sign of Scorpio. So that in itself means that in whichsoever domain Scorpio energy is falling in your chart, you can actually achieve or accomplish something substantial pertaining to the domain of that zodiac sign and that house. So yes guys, after that now we will shift our discussion customized to that basis your ascendant, what this year is going to be bringing up for you. So guys, now we will start our discussion customized to your Lagna, the yearly predictions and how planets are going to be treating you next year. So guys, the approach which we will follow is very simple. We will cover all the houses of your natal chart and we will try to look at how planets are going to be influencing you specific to the attributes and matters of that house. So guys, starting first with the first house, which tells about your health, which tells about your public image and which tells about with how much conviction you will progress next year. So guys, definitely the points which I have mentioned over here is that very good year for higher learning, overseas interest, self-discovery and success in competitive environment. Consistent charities post May 2024 is needed. So guys, as you know this thing that Jupiter is going to be transiting in your 12th house. Now if Jupiter like post May 2024. And Jupiter, which represents finances, it is going to be transiting in a zodiac sign which represents finances. And just because it is transiting in your 12th house, which is the houses of expenses, so you need to honor the energy, you need to honor this planet, otherwise your expenses might suddenly go very high. And specifically guys, there are certain months which I have highlighted over there, that in the month of March, your ascendant lord Mercury is going to be transiting in the Aquarius. So that in itself means that your first house and the fourth house lord is going to be getting conjunct with the planet Saturn in the ninth house. That in itself tells about that any of the travels during that time will be very promising, or any of the concerns of religious pilgrimage, immigration related concerns will be very much promising for you. After that guys, in the month of June, your ascendant lord Mercury is going to be transiting from the your 12th house, and it is going to be well placed in your first house. Now I mentioned 12th house because during that time your ascendant lord is going to be conjunct with your 7th house lord planet Jupiter, your 10th house lord planet Jupiter in the 12th house. So that time you might get some overseas opportunity as well, and there will also be a very strong yoga of running into someone or finding someone during that time. And lastly guys, I have mentioned that in the month of October, your ascendant lord Mercury is going to be transiting and getting exalted in your fourth house and covering your fifth house as well. So for any of your academic pursuit, any of the favors from the important people, the month of October could be very promising for you. Moving ahead guys, now pertaining to the matters of your second house. So guys, specific to your Lagna, Gemini Lagna natives, no matter how intelligent they could be, but in the matters of their finances, they might have to go through waves of ups and downs, because over there you will find the energy of the planet Moon in the form of the presence of Cancer sign over there. So the point which I have mentioned over here is that energy in the matters of finances is to be preserved during this year, because guys, as you can see that Saturn from your ninth house is also going to be aspecting your 11th house with its third aspect as well. So overall, and with the planets of the planet of finances Jupiter transiting in your 12th house, so definitely this is not a year where you can go overboard, or where you could be nonchalant or casual pertaining to the matters of your finances. So my recommendation is that if you will be in a situation where you have to spend major amount of money, major chunk of money, and the omens and circumstances situation seems to be very dicey, seems to be very unpredictable, uncertain, so it will be much recommended and advisable to pull your hand out of it. So yes guys, that is all what I can say pertaining to the matters of your finances, that this year you have to be tread with caution pertaining to the matters of your finances. There will be financial inflow, but the way you spend your money, the way you invest your money has to be done with proper caution and care. After that guys, when it comes down to the third house, which tells about your initiative, which tells about communication, travel, resourcefulness, networking and all. So the points which I have mentioned over here is that aspected by Saturn will make you focused, realistic and goal oriented. So let's say for example, if you want to expand, scale up or diversify in your business interest, so the straight 7th aspect of the planet Saturn coming in from the 9th house will definitely support you. So in that regard, for taking initiative, I would say that there is a least possibility that you might act very headstrong, or you might not be in command of your impulses during this year. Second thing is that guys, definitely because in your third house you will find the regal and royal energy of the planet Sun in the form of the Leo sign over there. So the points and the specific timelines which I have mentioned for you guys is that April mid onwards, because during that time Sun is going to be exalted in your 11th house, third house lord is going to be exalted, and as you can see that Mars is going to be getting conjunct with Saturn in your 9th house. So I would say guys that third house lord being exalted in the 11th house and 9th house being in a accentuated state, so for recognition, popularity or launching any product or releasing any of the product, any of your interest where you want the limelight, So the month of mid of April onwards will be very promising for you. After that, guys, mid of August onwards, like around 15 August onwards, as you can see that Sun is going to be getting well placed in your third house, being in the Leo, and Mars is going to be conjunct with Jupiter in your 12th house. So during this time, let's say for example, if any of your initiatives are connected, are aligned with the foreign lands and all, so that time period will be equally promising or rewarding for you. Now guys, after moving ahead to your fourth house, so now guys, in the matters of the fourth house, the blessings are coming to you in such a way that after the month of May, once Jupiter will transit to your 12th house, it is going to be giving its fifth aspect to the Ketu, which is already transiting in your fourth house, which is considered as a very good combination. Like the way guys, you know this thing that fourth house, which tells about our manas, our emotional state. Ketu has got this potential and capacity to extract some sort of latent potential talents or some sort of returns or rewards of the deeds done by us in past so many lifetimes, and Ketu somehow function in a very graceful way whenever it is getting aspected or establishing any connection with the planet Jupiter. So I would say guys that the points which I have written over here is that extreme blessings with Ketu unlocking the blockages from past many lives. Meditation and spirituality will bring a lot of peace. So definitely guys, fourth house has got its material and spiritual and intangible aspects connected with it as well. So I'm very much sure that when it comes down to any of the spiritual or any of the intangible attributes connected with the fourth house, where we talk about peace of mind, where we talk about stability and security in the life, kind of satisfaction, contentment with the life, with your domestic life, regarding that front I'm not seeing you much of the vulnerable. But when it comes down to the material aspect, so now as you can see that with Jupiter being in your 12th house and the way overall planetary energies are influencing you, so when it comes down to the major investments, this could be in land, in property, or something in vehicles, in luxury and all, over there moderation is something which I will recommend to all the Gemini Lagna natives during this year. Now guys, coming to the attributes of your fifth house, which tells about your intellect, academics and the concerns of progeny and childbirth. So the time period till April is extremely auspicious for childbirth and education, which is very self-explanatory because till April Jupiter is going to be transiting in your 11th house, giving its straight aspect to your fifth house as well. The month of March, where your fifth house lord is going to be conjunct with the Saturn, important planet for you in your ninth house, is going to be very auspicious. So guys, I would say that in the month of March, like let's say for example, if you have to write any competitive exam, you have to take admission in any of the foreign university, any of the concerns of immigration, visa and all, so the month of March seems to be very auspicious for you. After that guys, April would bring very sudden, unpredictable results. So guys, as you can see that in the month of April, your 5th house lord and the 12th house lord, which is the planet Venus, it is going to be getting conjunct with Rahu in the 10th house. The concern over here is that Venus attains exaltation being in the Pisces. So it is a typical energy where people get into or involve into workplace related affairs and all of that. But again guys, let's say for example, you are an artist, you are a creative person, 5th house also tells about that. So if in the month of April, you are going to launch or release any of the product, any of your artwork, so chances of going viral, chances of suddenly getting popular, being in the limelight is going to be a lot in your favor. After that guys, I have written over here that in the month of June, Venus, your 5th house lord, is going to be very well placed in its own sign, in its own house in the 12th house, being conjunct with the planet Jupiter as well. So that in itself tells about that it is going to be very blessed month for any of your overseas interest. So yes guys, that is how the energy in the matters of your fifth house is going to be influencing you. Now when it comes down to the sixth house, a very big surprise or blessing is waiting for you. So guys, if you have listened to the introductory part of this video where I mentioned this thing, that whenever both of these planets like Jupiter and Saturn, they jointly influences a single house, chances tend to remain very strong of finding success in the matters of that house. So guys, sixth house, which tells about your daily work life, it tells about the concerns of debt, concerns of loans, and it also tells about success in any of the competitive situation. So as you can see, the points which I have mentioned over here is that significant development at your workplace, removal of debts, and success in competitive environment. I've also highlighted certain months as well for you. So in the month of March, your 6th house lord and the 11th house lord planet Mars is going to be exalted in your 8th house. So definitely it is kind of a Viprit Raj Yoga as well. So in the month of March, if let's say for example any of the concerns of lawsuit, joint resources, inheritance, royalties, success in research and exploration can work out in your favor. In the month of April, your 6th house lord planet Mars is going to be getting conjunct with the planet Saturn in your 9th house. So that also tells about that if during or in the month of April you have to write any competitive exam, planets or stars will definitely favor you. And again guys, like any of the combination of the 6th and the 9th house is a kind of a dharma karmapati yoga, where we say this thing that if you have actually endured something, you have actually suffered in the line of your duty, people generally get rewarded in these kind of alignments whenever 6th and the 9th house makes any connection. After that guys, as you can see that in the month of May, your 6th house lord Mars is going to be getting conjunct with Rahu in your 10th house. So that in itself tells about that yes, this is going to be a time period where you have to be very careful in the month of May, because any of the office or work related politics or any of your outburst can suddenly get intensified at your workplace. Like a lot many times when people get involved into any of the disciplinary action at their workplace, this is that sort of yoga. But let's say for example if you are in policing, in law related field, then it can actually work out in your favor as well. After that guys, in the month of July and August, your 6th house lord Mars is going to be getting conjunct with Jupiter in your 12th house. So again guys, any of the connection of the 6th house and the 12th house, that is a typical yoga of any of the work related overseas travels. After that guys, when we talk about the attributes of your 7th house, which tells about your matrimonial concerns, commercial interest and your public image. So the points which I have mentioned over here is that time period till April is auspicious for matrimonial alliances, public image and commercial interest. After the completion of the month of April, like from the May onwards, there will be high expenses, mystery and secrecy to be dealt with. So again guys, like as you can see that your 7th house lord is going to be transiting in your 12th house. So definitely you might have to deal with all these energies as well. So I would say that if marriage is your utmost priority right now, getting into any new collaboration alliances is a pressing concern or issue for you. So you must expedite it or prioritize it in the first 4 months of the 2024, because afterwards there will be a lot of back and forth, there will be a lot of the secrecy and mystery or hidden charges and those energies which you have to deal with. After that guys, pertaining to the matters of your 8th house, the points which I have mentioned over here is that not much vulnerability on the account of scandals, sudden problems, accidents and all. So guys, that makes sense as well, because Jupiter's aspect is going to be influencing your 8th house post May 2024. And the good part over here is that the lord of the 8th house, which is the planet Saturn, it is also very well placed in your 9th house. So can you see the whole connection and symmetry? Jupiter giving its aspect to your 8th house after May, and 8th house lord being well placed in the 9th house. So that all in itself means that there's not much of the vulnerability, because generally pain, problems, so many unpredictable, unforeseen problems only creep out of the 8th house. But your 8th house seems to be well guarded, divine protected during this year, specifically after May onwards. And yes, guys, I have also mentioned over here that um, um, Jupiter's aspect post May 2024 and its Lord, well placed in the ninth house, will bestow success in the account of joint resources, inheritance, and royalties for sure. Now, guys, coming to your ninth house, which tells about your like any of the overseas interest, travels, religious interest, and religious austerities, and all. So, I have written over here is that Saturn's strengthened presence will add a layer of fortune to all of your efforts in the year of 2024. So that in itself means that, let's say for example, if taking admission into any of the foreign university seems to be very impossible, your score or your grades are very low, but still if you will keep on persistently chasing it, if you will keep on putting efforts, doing some research, might be if the college which you have chosen you are not able to get into, but there might be equally good college in some other province where you might stand a chance. So giving up might not give you results, because Saturn just only appreciates and acknowledges the hard work and consistent efforts. So that is the first thing which I have written over here, that Saturn's strengthened presence will add a layer of fortune to all of your efforts. Very good year for all the consultants, lawyers, bankers, teachers, trainers, import-export businesses, and immigration consultants. After that, guys, pertaining to the matters of your 10th house, which definitely tells about your professional endeavors, your relationship with people in authority, with your bosses, and also it tells about like your public image and all. So as you can see over here, that because Rahu is placed over here and the dispositor of Rahu is placed in the 12th, so it is good for new experiences, experimenting with something new, learning something new. But when it comes down to any of the workplace related politics and betrayal, so over there you might remain vulnerable. So guys, understand this thing. When Rahu and Ketu transited to your 10th house and the 4th house, at that time I did not highlighted the workplace politics and betrayal much, because I knew this thing that Rahu is going to be giving its results as per wheresoever and in whichsoever condition the sign Lord is placed. Before or till April, your 10th house Lord Jupiter is in the 11th house, which is a dignified placement. But once if you have Rahu in the 10th house and the dispositor of Rahu is also in a mysterious house in your 12th house, that in itself makes you very very vulnerable. So you have to conduct, you have to behave with complete perfection, I would say. Guard your public image. Now guys, when it comes down to your 11th house, which tells about the kind of groups and people you want to associate with, you want to hang out with, this is also the house of your gains, your wish fulfillment, popularity, success and all. So guys, during this year now, as you can see that because Saturn from your 9th house is going to be giving its third aspect to your 11th house, which in itself will keep your goals and your vision completely in check, and I would say that it will actually make you very realistic about your own capacity to achieve or accomplish things. Second thing is that guys, you have to work very hard this year to be in the limelight or center stage, because the way planets are influencing you, or let's say for example, if this has been a story in your professional life that you always do the hard work and someone else always takes the credit, so during this time whatsoever you are doing, so you have to make sure that it is in the notice or it is in the attention of the right set of people. Guys, try to understand this thing. No matter how other houses or other planets are influencing you, but the blessing during this year comes to you in a way that your 6th house is getting very accentuated because of the dual aspect coming in from the planet Saturn and Jupiter, and reinforcing the attributes of your 6th house, which is a house of your competitive spirit. So there is no scarcity of talent and intensity within you to defend what is right or what is wrong. All what is needed is that to put forth your energies to defend for or fight for or strive for what actually belongs to you. So yes guys, that is all what I can say pertaining to the matters of your 11th house. the gains or the income will be consistent, but you have to work very hard in order to earn it. Or if in any capacity you want to be in the center stage or in the limelight, which actually matters a lot, like when we talk about whether in politics, whether in the field of art, entertainment, cinema, so being in a limelight, being talked about becomes very important. So if all of that is your aspiration during this year, you have to put extra efforts. And lastly guys, in your 12th house, definitely, as you can see that post like after the May 2024, once Jupiter will transit to your 12th house. Now Jupiter in your case, which has got a rulership over your 7th house and your 10th house, so that in itself means that somehow the matters of your relationship, your public image will go into lot of mystery, lot of unpredictability after May. But guys, the good part over here is that 12th house has got lot of the spiritual and religious attributes attached to it as well. And like the way in not many cases when we talk about all those people who remain lucky in getting the vision from their Ishta Devta, from their guru, in their dreams and all, so those sort of very prophetic dreams and mysterious experiences are definitely waiting for you during this year. So guys, the points which I have summarized pertaining to the matters of the 12th house for you is that overseas interest definitely look very promising. You will have a lot of prophetic dreams and vision. Consistent charities will balance out any of the fear of expenses and losses for you. So yes guys, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs for the yearly predictions for your rising sign. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. Dhanyavad.